Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
Okay. Now I got your attention. So, first of all, welcome to this, I would say, the most important session of the day. Not only for today, for any Toastmasters meeting, this is by far the most important session without taking away anything from the other sessions. And why do I say that? Because this is the session which delivers those nuggets of feedbacks, information, which takes an intermediate speaker to a better one. A better speaker becomes an excellent one, and an excellent speaker becomes
Superman. Distinguished.
Okay, today let me oblige the grammarian and say an excellent speaker becomes a revered one. So folks, without further ado, let's start the session. The meeting began 10 minutes late.
Why?
So, I hear that the GE was partly to blame for that, and that's yours truly. But I think if we were to look at that a little more deeper, I think, we have set a standard for both starting and stopping the meeting on time. So whatever be the circumstances, whatever be the impediments, I think the committee still should feel empowered to go ahead and start the meeting on the right time. Whether the G is here, whether the president is here or not, we have to make alternate provisions and go ahead and start. That said, I think the Sergeant at Arms did a fabulous job of settling the people down. I know there was a lot of commotion when the meeting began. He did really set the people down, and then he had a very creative way of introducing how we shut off how we switch off our mobiles. We hear that week in, week out, every week, but I think you brought in a new aspect as to how to do that. Paresh, I think this is the second time you said you are doing this job, and I came to know that you were just told a couple of hours before that you were this SAA for the day. So I guess you were a little bit flustered on that as well, but I think at a minimum you need to introduce the president and speak his name. So with that, I think still that was a fantastic job done, and let's applaud that. Coming next to the secretary of the day, Mohammed, you read out the meeting minutes for the last week. I thought you were very confident doing that. You had great eye contact throughout. We were very well settled on this stage, and all good about that. I think the one piece which probably can do better is, you have the minutes written down, right? So you should at least, I don't know whether you did that or not, but you can read that to yourself before you come and do that here, because few things like the competitive Toastmasters, the competent Toastmasters, and few other things could have been done better. But I still thought it's a great job done, and let's applaud that as well. Okay, now we come to our revered president, Dr. Rajdeep. Before that, I want to also tie that to the theme of the meeting, celebrate even the small successes. I think the committee did a fabulous job of picking this topic, and Dr. Rajdeep explained why that matters, giving the example of how a subconscious mind is like 7/8 of our entire mind, but it's like it only listens to emotions, good or bad. So just to expand that a little more, it's like why when we celebrate the small successes, right? It's a positive affirmation back to us, right? If you today as a new Toastmaster, you come and say, I want to do complete my CC10 in whatever 6 months, 9 months, whatever it is. You may say that, but your heart won't really believe that. But if you say, okay, 2 weeks I will do my CC1, 3 weeks this, and if you do that and celebrate those small successes, it becomes a habit. Success, failure, everything is a habit, and you get into that cadence of you're looking for that. Okay, the next small success, and how I would celebrate that. May that be an ice cream or a beer or a bhaji. So, I thought Rajdeep, you did expand on the topic very beautifully, and you had first metamorphically started with the boy and how he calculates, and really had the audience in splits on that itself. The only thing, Rajdeep, the only feedback I thought I can give you for today was, I thought while you had all of us laughing away, you yourself were not smiling when you came onto the stage, and I thought that would have taken this session to an even greater height. But I think for the way you expanded on the topic and the way you set the stage for the rest of the meeting, I think there was a great job done. Okay, before I come to the MC, let me talk about the table topic master today. I think we already said how vivacious, how bubbly you were, but I think as soon as you came onto the stage, right, you got everyone really involved. You were like very business-like. Okay, let's start, and then you explained the table topics with by involving the audience. So I think that was excellent way to do that. Your topics were pretty good, I would say. Though some of the speakers struggled a little. But by a couple of things which you could have done better. One is, I know because of your chocolate thing, you had the speaker come up and select the topic. But what happens is in a table topic session, when you first announce the name of the speaker and then the topic comes, right? So look at the person who's sitting there. So when you announce, when the topic gets announced, he or she is no longer that expectant or that fearful because he knows I'm not on the hook. Whereas if you come first and just read out the topic, right? So you don't know. I bar a few people, I think everybody is still pretty nervous in a table topic session, right? So once you read out the topic, you have the unstinted attention of everyone in the room because he or she doesn't know that that person may be called. So that's one thing. Secondly, you see we had 9 speakers and 30% of them were guests. So we first need to go through our members because I think that's what, I mean, each and every member who comes to a Toastmasters session needs to go back having spoken something, whatever, little or. But then after that, yeah, if we run out of speakers, sure, we should get in the guest speakers. But that's a part. I think this was the most entertaining session of the day, or in my long-term history of Toastmasters, I thought even Dr. Rajdeep's speech was not as entertaining as yours. So I'm going to now make it a point to watch the agenda, and whenever you are the next TTM, I'm going to be here.
Oh, thank you.
So that's not all for that, but a really wonderful session. And Pyle, you have to be careful now. You have set the bar from a cookie to a chocolate, so I don't know next time.
Expectations.
Okay, folks, let's come back to the meeting. MC for the day, our President-elect Prakash Francis. I mean, what should I say? As soon as he came in with a very, I won't say a broad smile, but with a very lazy, laid-back smile. That's a smile, okay, not the person, the smile. So with that just smile, I think you set, I mean, everyone at complete ease. Actually, to tell you frankly, once I saw you smiling, that's when I remembered, oh, Rajdeep didn't smile, and that's the disconnect I felt there. So you really got everyone very comfortable in the meeting. And like I would say, was like the pilot of the whole meeting, right? Because most of the stuff for today's modern pilot, if you know, I mean, 90% of it runs on autopilot, right? But it's the takeoff and the landing which really matters, and you had a really smooth takeoff. And I'm sure we can look forward to a smooth landing as well today. Again, you not only had great intros for the folks coming in, you also, again, the way you introduced about Toastmasters to everyone, especially to the guests, by having speakers point out, I mean, the different pieces of info. I mean, that was also very well done. The only part, Prakash, where I thought you could have done a little better is, I think while you got all of us really relaxed, I think mentally you also relaxed a little too much, because some of the things about evaluators and all that, you got a little mixed up. So you still need to stay very alert, still need to stay very focused while getting all of us into that tempo rhythm.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Stay hungry, sure, so I'm not sure about the foolish part. So
That is already
So folks, how do we applaud that? Okay, now I will move on to the speakers and the evaluators for them. So, the evaluator for the first speech, Varun, could you come up?